In this video, I'm not only going to show you how to do an open house that'll actually sell the house, but I'll also show you how to turn open houses into a lead generating machine that'll fuel your business. After coaching over 100 real estate agents and doing $100 million in sales myself, I've realized the pattern is that agents who master open houses just consistently do better than those who don't. So if you're relying on putting a couple of open house signs up and hoping people show up, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. But by the end of this video, you're going to be able to master open houses and use it as your biggest lead generation tool. Let's get into it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so here is the open house formula at a 30,000 foot view. Now let's zoom right in and let's get started. So open houses, you've got your first one maybe. Maybe you're planning an open house, but you don't know how to effectively do an open house, let alone use it to get you more opportunities. So why are they important? That's the first reason right there. They connect you with more buyers. They allow you to connect with people who are looking for houses. Think about it. Like, why is somebody coming to an open house? Most likely, unless they're like the neighbor or something like that, but even then, the neighbor could be looking to sell their property or whatever it may be. So, most likely, they are going to be a buyer or they're going to be a seller. So, it's going to allow you to connect with more people who are wanting to transact in real estate, which is what you want. Now, next, it's going to allow you to create a buzz for the listing. So, if you're the listing agent, you obviously want to show your seller that you're working and you're doing what you need to be doing, but you're also creating more action for that listing and allowing for more opportunities for more eyeballs to see that listing. And then next one, it leads to valuable feedback or direct offers. So a lot of the times you'll get some good feedback at open houses. You'll get people saying, hey, they didn't like the color of the walls, or they didn't like the kitchen, or they didn't like the price, whatever it may be. You want to compile all that information and you want to basically present that to the seller. I usually do it at Sunday night. So if I'm holding the open house Saturday and Sunday, I'll probably do it like end of Sunday, maybe even Monday, to be honest, if I have a lot going on. But it leads to valuable feedback that you want to be sharing with the seller, because at the end of the day, if you need to go for a price drop, you need the ammo. So you need to be prefacing that price drop for quite a while before you even get there. So that's just on the seller side. Now, open house prep to ensure success. Couple things you want to do before the open house. You want to strategically time the event, choosing the right day, time, and avoid conflicts like Super Bowl, for example. So you don't want to do it on like a crazy busy day that nobody's going to be available, i.e. Christmas. So like that's like probably one of the worst times to do it. But you want to choose a time. Typically, in my market, you want to look around at other properties that are having open houses too, because typically somebody will go to that house there and then come to yours and then go to a different one. So my times are usually Saturday, Sunday, 2 to 4, but you want to strategically place the timing. You also want to market the event properly. So real estate websites, door knocking, inviting the neighbors, postcards, directionals, those are all things that you should be doing before the actual open house. If you are short on time, what you could do is show up to the open house about an hour or two early and door knock all the neighbors. So this is really easy when it comes to like townhouses and condos and things like that. But if it's houses, you want to set aside that time, 1 to 2 hours, just door knock before and even door knock after to invite for the next day if you're doing it 2 days in a row. Now, next you want to do is prepare the home. So declutter it, stage it, repair it, set the mood. So you want to make sure the home is show home ready. So you want to make sure that this house is like a house that you can take photos of right now, and it feels that way as well through like setting the mood through music or maybe baking some cookies, have the owners bake some cookies or something that makes the house feel livable. There's nothing worse. We were on a coaching call today, and there's nothing worse that we were talking about was walking into a house and it's dark and it's dingy and it's like nobody's gonna imagine themselves living there. Even if it's an investor, like seeing a house like that and seeing a house like decorated and nice and decluttered and mood set, they're gonna want to buy that property because they know their renters are gonna want to be living in that type of property as well. They'll get higher quality renters. Next is to prepare yourself. So you want to gather materials you need and have your talking points ready. Ready, ready. So you want to make sure that you're not like coming in like 2 minutes before the open house. You want to make sure that you have all the marketing material. Let's say you're giving out brochures, flyers, you have QR codes, whatever it may be. Prepare yourself mentally. Meditate for 5 minutes before that time even happens. Get in the house 30 minutes early and make sure you're ready for people to come. Because this is an opportunity for you to meet people that are potentially buying or selling. You need to show your best version of them, and that's when first impressions matter the most. Now, next that I want to go over is create a memorable experience. So, like I said, warm first impressions, that's what matters the most. Once they see the place, that's their first time they're ever gonna, that's the last time they're ever gonna see that place again for the first time. So it matters a lot. Now, handling objections or concerns, you want to actively listen. You want to address concerns with honesty and confidence. For example, if a buyer mentions a small yard, highlight nearby parks. So you always want to figure out what the negative is and how do you spin that as a positive. That's essentially what realtors do. Listen actively and turn negatives into positives. Provide solutions, offer ideas or alternatives like renovation possibilities or nearby listings. This is why the realtor is valuable. So this is what the value of a realtor is, thinking outside the box and offering solutions that you can't just put on a piece of paper, because you have to know the person and you have to understand them and listen actively. Now, next is sign-in sheets and digital check-in. So I like doing a virtual check-in where they can just scan a QR code. It's pretty good. Like, my brokerage gives that to me for free. So next is highlighting features. So guided showcases. If the home has unique features or custom kitchens like outdoor entertaining area, point them out, guys. You want to point out the cool characteristics of the home, because again, that's why you're there. You want to make sure you're displaying the best parts of that property, and if it gives you some talking points as well. Now, next is to leverage visual aids. So use printed or digital displays to showcase before and after photos of renovations or seasonal landscaping. Or here's a good trick as well. If the property is not, if it's empty and you don't have the seller who wants to pay for staging, you can always get pictures virtually staged and then have it on an iPad there of like the pictures, so they can just browse it and they can look at and imagine what it would look like with furniture. So it makes it a lot more appealing to them. Now, next is going to be engage, but also give space. You want to be available without hovering, and you want to ask questions, but give visitors room to explore on their own. So it's a very personal thing, buying a house. It's one of the biggest decisions somebody will make in their lives. So you do want to give them that space to do that, and you also want to give them the privacy essentially. Now you want to anticipate questions, be prepared to discuss utility costs, local amenities, and any recent updates to a home. So you definitely want to have all that information. Nothing worse than somebody asks you, real quick, guys, if you are getting value, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be posting a whole bunch of new content. I want to help as many agents as possible. Let's get back to the video. Question that's really simple and you don't know the answer. I get it. If you don't know the answer, never try to lie your way out of it. I've done that in the past. It doesn't work. I mean, my first year, I'm sure every realtor can relate to that. Just trying to like figure it out or try to work around what they're asking. But you want to just, if you really don't know, hey, that's a great question. Let me get your phone number. I'll text you the answer. Boom, you got a lead. Now, next is, and you got a lead. Let me go back to that. You got a lead because you got their phone number. Now that you have their phone number, you could follow up with them. You could stay in touch with them. You should be getting their number anyways because you're getting them to sign up, but that's besides the fact. Now, follow up and timing, turning offers into interest into offers. There you go, follow up. Now, post-event organization is massive. You need to review your sign-in data, prioritize follow-ups based on interest level and potential leads. So obviously the people who are interested, very interested, you want to follow up with first. And then you also want to collect feedback. You want to note visitor comments about the property and to provide useful insights into the seller. Again, if you need a price drop, that's how you would do it. Now, reaching out to attendees, you want to send a thank you within 24 hours, email attendees thanking them for their visiting, include a digital brochure and a recap of home's key features. And then you also want to answer questions that they may have, obviously, offer to address any lingering concerns or provide additional information. On top of that, you also want to provide feedback to the sellers. Very important. This will give you the leverage to go for a price drop or even a price increase if you need to. It's just sharing the visitor impressions, common objections, any offers received, adjust your strategies based on that. So if like they really hated the furniture, maybe think about staging. It might help with selling. Now, you also want to engage non-buyers, so provide alternative options. If this home isn't a right fit, you want to suggest similar listings that meet their needs. So this is where you pick up more buyers. So you never want to just force somebody into a house that just because you're holding the open house. I will tell you guys 10 times out of 10, if they don't like the house, they're not going to buy the house just because you sold them into the house. It's a big freaking decision, and you're not going to sell somebody to a house that they don't really want. So always provide them options. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was holding an open house for another agent, and this person came in, and I was asking him questions based on like, hey, what do you like? What do you kind of looking for? And he was telling me who he was looking for, and it wasn't even close to what the house was that he was at, which was the open house that I was holding. It wasn't even close to that. So I was like, I literally told him like point blank, I was like, hey man, Vishal, like this house isn't even close to what you want. Like, why are you even here? And he's like, what? Aren't you supposed to like be selling me the house? Aren't you a realtor? Like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm supposed to be selling you a house if you like the house, right? So I'm not gonna sell you something you don't like. And I offered to door knock for him. I ended up selling him a property, and I door knocked, found him a property, so I double ended that deal. And then the person I sold his house, I also bought him a house for like 1.7 or something like that. And he's an accountant who's referred me like 10, 15 other people. So just that relationship being raw and real with somebody has got me hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission. So massive to just not sell people just because you're holding the open house. Now, some tools and resources to hold an open house that is successful. Your CRM software, guys. So you want to track your leads and manage follow-ups with tools like Salesforce, HubSpot. Honestly, those aren't even the best. I recommend something called Go High Level, but if you have any questions about that, you can ask me. We can even get you a version of that for free. So just DM me. Digital sign-ins, use apps like Open Home Pro to simplify check-ins and feedback collection. So you want to use apps as much as you can. You want to use technology. You don't want to let technology use you. So use that stuff to your advantage. Also, if you can, if let's say it's a bigger project or a bigger house that you're selling, you want to collaborate with local people. So vendor partnerships, partner with local coffee shops or florists to provide refreshments, decor, service referrals, recommend trusted mortgage brokers, inspectors, or contractors to add value for buyers. Now, I remember I did a massive agents open for it was like a 5 million, $4.5 million place right on the water. It was a really cool place. But we did this. We got a whole bunch of vendors to kind of like come by, and they gave me a discount on their services. But we promoted them, and it was great. It was a win-win for everybody, and the event went way more successful than it would have if we didn't have those things. Because people just like fancy things. People like seeing different things, and they like being serviced. So if you can do that, definitely do that. Now, a couple last tips here. Tips for standing out as an agent. You want to be personable. You don't want to be a robot. You want to make sure that you're actually communicating with people on a personal level and you're not just like spewing off information like a robot. You don't want to be after commission like it's like your last penny because people can smell that. It's called commission breath. It's the worst thing to have. So do what's actually best for the prospect. You want to create a routine. So you want to do something every single time you do an open house. It helps you get into a good routine and builds good habits. And you definitely don't want to be hungover or lack of sleep. I remember I've done many open houses hungover. I did not perform. I did not get the result I wanted to. Hence me stopping even drinking entirely. Once in a while, yeah, sure, I'll drink, but um, honestly, on a day to day, like maybe once every couple of months. But if you can eliminate that as much as possible, I know it sucks because people love drinking on the weekends and open houses on the weekends. But if you can eliminate that, it'll get you so much further ahead in your business even if it's just for a couple of years, grind hard, build that business out, build a team, and now the team's doing the open houses. So it's a small sacrifice for a long-term gain. Now, next is to make sure you bring a snack because I always get hungry. I always brought protein bar, and then always have a way to prospect when it's dead. I will tell you guys, 100%, your open house will not be busy 100% of the time. So you want to have a way to prospect so that you're doing something very useful, making content, calling people, sending emails, whatever it is, make sure you're doing something that is prospecting and bringing you more clients when you're there. So you're not just sitting at an open house doing nothing. Now, if you don't have the clients to even be doing an open house at, we actually help agents install a client acquisition machine that brings them leads every single day. Put a link below where you can book a time to speak with one of our team members. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video.